Wuzzzaaahhhhhh! I can't believe I'm about to say this, but today we are doing the Great Torture Method tier list. And you might be thinking, what is Blood talking about? Well, we're gonna take what I believe is about 34 different torture methods from a video, and we're gonna rank them based on how bad they are. We can choose between the tiers Sadistic Final Boss, Crazy Overkill, that's pretty bad, Medieval Nonsense, could be worse, and we finna use this today. We're gonna watch every torture in 8 minutes by the Paint Explainer.
Heretic's Fork. A collar with 2 sets of metal forks at each end. One set was placed under the chin and the other at the sternum, and the device was secured around the neck. This forced the victim to keep their head raised, leading to severe discomfort and sleep deprivation.
This is
the person
just
would be asked
aggressive posture correction, no worries.
Slowly pierced through their neck and jaw, and this lasted until the victim could no longer hold their head raised.
Okay, so where do we rank the Heretic's Fork? I'd say this is some medieval nonsense. It is definitely not a nice thing to experience, but out of what we're gonna see, I don't believe it's gonna be the worst, you know?
Scold's Bridle. A metal framework is worn on the head, featuring a gag to silence the wearer.
God.
The part inside the mouth had spikes, which lacerated the tongue in case of movement. It was used to punish women considered to be nagging or gossiping too much, effectively humiliating them in public and restricting their ability to speak.
Damn, this is just misogyny with a budget. What the hell? Okay, the Schlatts Bridle is just targeted to women, which is pretty bad. But as long as you don't do anything, I feel like nothing really happens. So I'd say this could be worse. Might be controversial, but I stand by it.
Blood Eagle.
This looks
a
bad
brutal
already.
ritual where the victim's ribs were cut from the spine and spread out to resemble wings,
Oh
while the lungs
my
were pulled through the
God.
openings, causing a slow, agonizing death.
Okay, brutally cutting ribs. I don't think this needs much explanation. That is crazy overkill. There is literally no reason to do this. No reason.
Scaphism.
Scaphism.
Known as a very cruel way to cause death, it involved trapping someone in a boat, where they would cover the person in honey and milk to attract insects while also feeding them the same mixture to force them to constantly poop and vomit all over the boat.
That's disgusting. Someone misunderstood some nature documentaries. God damn.
Thus attracting even more insects. The insects would continuously bite the victim and try to get into his holes until he died. Every morning they would repeat this process, making this one of the most brutal and long tortures, with one man who managed
Holy
to survive
shit,
17
days of
passing
that?
away.
17 days? Jesus. God damn. That is fucked up evil. But it's quite creative, I'll give it to them. That is Sadistic Final Boss. No arguing. No arguing possible.
Branding iron. A hot metal stamp was pressed onto someone's skin to leave a mark. This was very painful and left a scar that stayed forever. It was a way to punish someone and remind them and others of what happened. That's one way of remembering something. Damn, basically a fucked up painful tattoo of something you don't want. That's way too dramatic, but it really could be worse. But the other one, the misogynistic one, that's worse than this. So I almost want to say either that one moves up or this one moves down to we finna use this today. Well, if we're gonna use it for something, the tier's there for some reason, we're gonna use it. We finna use this shit today. Yeah? If you're gonna do some fucked up shit, some really, really fucked up shit, you're just gonna get it tattooed on you from now on. New law. Brazen Bull. A metal statue shaped like a real-sized bull was used to lock someone inside and then heated up with fire underneath. The person inside would feel extreme heat and pain while being burned alive, and it was meant to scare others by showing how bad the punishment could be. There were special pipes to make the victim breathe, which also made the screams hearable for the crowd, resulting in a bull-like sound. The steam would leave from the bull's nose for extra realism. That is medieval if I've ever heard it.
That is theater punishment. God damn, they wanted an audience. That's basically dying to heat. I would say that is pretty bad. That is pretty fucking bad. But there's no way this lasts a really long time. So based on that, I won't say it's crazy overkill, but just pretty bad. Hey, we have one in every single tier. How cool.
Breaking wheel. This method broke someone's bones and then twisted their body around a big wheel.
That sounds fucked up.
They were then left hanging up high where birds and the weather made their death slow and very painful.
Whoa. They just added extra steps for fun? What the hell? Now that is absolutely wild. Okay. Yeah, that is crazy overkill again. You can't do that, man. What the hell?
Breast Ripper.
used as punishment, especially for women. It was heated and used to tear the skin of the
Oh.
breasts, serving as a severe punishment.
Someone
that
was
left
angry that
lifelong
day.
Scars and pain.
God damn. This is just symbolic. It's not even useful. What the hell? Again, it doesn't kill you, so that makes me want to put it in could be weird. It really looks like I hate women here. I don't. I really don't. I would put it higher, but the thing is, you don't get killed by this. Just really humiliated. That is what keeps me from putting it higher.
Kang. A big, heavy wooden board locked around someone's neck made moving or eating hard. It was a way to shame someone in public, making their punishment not just about physical pain, but also
Okay,
about
that's
feeling
just
embarrassed in
basically
front of
trying to
others.
shame someone. That is really, I'm gonna be honest, that is really not that bad. I will say, we finna use this shit today. Hell yeah.
Castor oil. Making someone drink a lot of castor oil caused stomach pain.
Oh, this
and
already
made them
sounds
so
bad.
sick that they could no longer hold their poop together. Then they would put the person in a big human-sized barrel and remove them when the person
God,
confessed.
that's
This could even go as
disgusting.
far as leaving the person to drown on their
What
own body
the
fluids
hell?
inside the barrel.
Oh, okay. What do we give this? That is some medieval nonsense. Like, if you confess, you get taken out, so it is bad, but I'd say it's just medieval nonsense.
Choke pear. A metal tool that was put into someone's mouth or anus
Oh
and then made
my
bigger
God.
on purpose. The tool would stretch the tissue to the point of no
Oh
return.
my god. Jesus Christ. To the point of no return. Let's say... Again, I feel like this wouldn't kill you immediately. So... Okay, wait. We're gonna do some reordering here. We're gonna put these ones. Now we're gonna go put that one up. We're gonna put these up. And we're gonna put this one here. Could be worse. It doesn't immediately kill you. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, we move on.
Head crusher. As you can understand from its name, this terrifying device slowly tightened around the head, causing severe pain and eventually crushing the skull. It was used to extract confessions or as a brutal punishment.
Well, that was straight to the point. That is fucked up. Oh, your head being crushed, man. God damn. That is bad. That is crazy overkill. I mean, the reason it doesn't go in sadistic final boss is that it doesn't take a couple of days. But your head being crushed does not really sound like a pleasant idea, to be honest. But sure.
Iron chair. A chair made of iron with sharp spikes on the seat and armrests. The person would be forced to sit on the chair for hours, sometimes days.
Oh, IKEA did not approve of this. Who sat down and approved this? That is not pleasant, but nah, we finna use this today.
Keel hauling. Keel hauling was a severe maritime punishment where a sailor was tied to a rope and dragged underwater from one side of the ship to the other, passing under the ship's keel. If the person did not drown or get vital damage
they
from the
go
rusty
again, right?
and sharp wooden body of the ship itself, they would just do it again until the person was no longer alive. It was feared for its
That is
brutality.
horrible. That's horrible. Leave the fish out of this. That is crazy overkill. That's crazy overkill. But I feel like it's crazy overkill.
Lynching. Also known as
Lynchy.
death by 1,000 cuts. This was a form
Oh,
of
no.
execution used in China, where the condemned person's flesh was systematically cut off. They would take small pieces from the flesh to the point where the rib cage was visible. This would go on for hours until the person was finally dead. It was intended to cause maximum pain and suffering before death.
Oh my god. We are just gonna put this thing in a sadistic final boss and we're gonna move on immediately. God damn.
Pendulum. A method involving a sharp blade suspended above the victim, which slowly lowered with each swing. The blade would move just like a pendulum, cutting deeper cuts in the victim every time.
Someone watched too much drama, man. God damn. Okay. That is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. The suspense just, but you know when it's gonna happen.
Rack. The person would be forced to lay on a rectangle-shaped wooden rack that stretched the victim's body by pulling the arms and legs in opposite directions. It caused incredible pain and could lead to dislocated limbs and torn ligaments. It was mainly used as a method to get information.
I don't know what bitch invented this, but I will say that really could be worse. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't use it today, but it really could be worse. His
Scavenger's
name does
daughter.
not explain enough.
Compression device that forced the victim into a crouched position, compressing the body and causing immense pain. It was the opposite of the rack, focusing on compression rather than stretching.
Oh, that again does not sound ideal, and I feel like it deserves a similar fate to its brother. Could be worse. like, these ones don't kill you, I guess. So, for that reason, it could be worse.
Pau de arara.
Fancy
A
name.
form of torture where a person is suspended from a rod by their wrists and ankles, similar to being on a parrot's perch. It wasn't a way of execution, but sometimes would cause long-term joint problems for the victim.
That does not sound pleasant, and it does have long-lasting effects, I guess. I would say that could be worse. And we're gonna shove this one up, because these ones are nothing compared to that one, man. God damn.
Tongue tearer. A tool used to grip and tear the tongue, causing extreme pain and preventing the victim from speaking. Ironically, this was often used to get people to speak.
Well, why are you doing it then, dipshit? This was designed by an introvert, I guess. The anti-public speaking device. Sure. Okay, someone hated conversations, and I will say this is, again, just some medieval nonsense, man. What the hell?
Strapado. This torture involved binding the victim's hands behind their back and then hoisting them up by a rope tied to the wrists, typically resulting in dislocated shoulders. Weights may have been added to the body to intensify the effect and increase the pain. This kind of torture would generally not last more than an hour without rest, as it would otherwise likely result in death.
Goal wasn't to kill you, but to inflict really bad pain. That is, again, medieval nonsense. Why are you doing that? That's not necessary. Okay.
White room torture.
Oh no,
A
not the
method
white
where the
room.
victim is placed in a completely white, soundproof room with no windows or distinguishing features. It was used as a long-form psychological torture method and often caused people to go crazy.
Okay, hear me out. It doesn't look like the worst one, but this thing could go on for years and years and years, and you're gonna go crazy. I'd say this might be sadistic final boss, because these other methods, they really don't last that long. But the white room torture, it is bad. It is really bad.
Oubliette dungeon. A type of dungeon designed as a deep pit used to hold prisoners. Forgotten and left in the dark, victims would be dropped through a narrow opening, often to be ignored and left to die without food or water. Hence the name from the French oublier, meaning to forget.
Okay, well, that is not a nice thing to do. Surprise, surprise. I will say that is pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Gibbeting human cages. A method of public execution and post-mortem punishment, where the body, sometimes still alive, was placed in a metal cage and hung on display, usually in a popular area. This served as a warning to others and subjected the victim to a slow, humiliating death.
Absolutely unnecessary, man. What the hell? Okay, this is sort of a... I'd say this is... I don't know, is it medieval nonsense or... Nah. If you're alive, that is pretty bad.
Spanish tickler.
Who the
A
fuck
terrifying
decided to give it
instrument
this
designed
name?
to
What
rip
the
and tear flesh
hell?
from the body. It was designed as a metal claw and would be
Ew.
constantly and slowly used on the victim. At the start, it would tickle the victim, but after a while, it would mutilate the skin.
Oh, no thank you. That is medieval nonsense. What the hell?
Bamboo torture. A bamboo would be put inside a person's anus, and it would be left there. The bamboo would grow really quickly inside the man, causing incredible pain. It was sometimes left until it exited from the other side.
Yeah, that is... oh my god, these people who designed this is just punishment with DLCs. This isn't punishment, this is a statement. That is sadistic final boss. God damn, that is so fucking painful, man. Bamboo is like really sharp. It is absurd.
Flaying alive. A gruesome method where the skin is removed from the body,
Oh.
often while the victim is still alive. This extreme form of torture was used to cause intense, slow pain and suffering, eventually leading to death through shock or infection.
Oh, wow. We're really saving best for last, man. God damn.
Judas chair.
We're involving
A torture
Christianity
device
now,
featuring
sure.
a pyramid-shaped seat where the victim was placed at the top, with ropes used to lower and suspend their body weight onto the sharp apex. The chair would slowly rip the person apart.
Yeah, that does not really sound that pleasant. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, that is crazy overkill. There's absolutely no reason to do that. No reason at all, but sure.
Iron Maiden. A tall, coffin-like chamber with spikes on the inside that would pierce the person placed inside once it was closed.
Ew. That does not sound like a good way to go, but there have been worse. I'd say that's... is it bad or medieval nonsense? It's just medieval nonsense. Sure.
Spanish donkey. a sharp-angled wooden device on which the victim was forced to sit, straddling it like a donkey, with weights attached to their feet. This would increase pressure and pain on the body, often causing severe injury to the legs and spine until the victim was ripped apart by their body weight.
Oh, jeez. Okay. That is, that again takes a really long time. That is crazy overkill. For no apparent reason. But sure.
Crocodile.
This name alone is enough.
A torture instrument designed to cut off the victim's limbs. The shears had a heated, serrated edge, forming a crocodile's jaws, and were often used on metal workers or to punish those who committed robbery.
Well, that does not sound like an ideal situation. That is... It doesn't kill you, I guess, but it does have severe implications for life. I'd say that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Chinese water
psychological
torture.
warfare,
A method where
man. That's
water
not
droplets
fair.
are repeatedly dropped onto a person's forehead for an extended period. This causes psychological distress and can lead to extreme anxiety and even madness as the constant drip becomes unbearable over time.
That's just a patience test from hell. The low effort, high damage, sure. That is not really something I'd like to experience, but it is medieval nonsense.
Thumb screw. A device that applied painful pressure to the thumbs or fingers. By tightening the screws, the device would crush the digits, causing intense pain. It was commonly used to extract confessions or punish thieves and other criminals.
Of what we've seen so far, that could be worse. I mean, yeah, could be worse, could be worse.
Whirligig. A torture device that spun the victim around at high speeds, causing disorientation, nausea, and potentially physical harm due to the centrifugal force.
Oh, no. No. Brother, you can't do that. Okay, so I can't stand circling over and over and over again. I'll just feel dizzy. Oh, someone was bored. But I guess it doesn't necessarily kill you. And I prefer this over many other things, so I'd say could be worse. Nah. Oh, if we're gonna look below. Now we finna use this today. Okay, well, so I had no apparent reason to make this video, but here it is anyway. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one.